Hi there, Kevin Shaw here. I just want to speak from the heart to a concern that many good parents have, and that is how to get their kids the help that they need for the future. Not just to write well, write clearly, and that sort of thing, but what is the inner quality, the inner trait that is going to make us successful in college? And it's hard to answer that question um, by giving you three short bullet points. But I'm going to try to break it down in a very simple way and then try to give you some examples of this because this is a nagging problem, right? We can use tools such as tutoring, um, revision, any number of strategies such as knowing what your audience and purpose is, using proper MLA format, writing a research paper to be able to make a claim and substantiate it with evidence from a text, and to think critically, right? Those are a handful of tools. But how do we actually approach the challenges that are ahead of us when we are going to face college, university, and the competition is high, and the stress is high, and you're in a new environment, and you're wondering if you're going to make it, right? I think in a way, we are focused on the problem, and that's what everybody focuses on. I do the same thing when I'm talking to people um, who are looking for help with their students, when I'm talking to parents in my full-time teaching. And here's the thing I want to say. There is the problem approach, and there's a whole school of thought that says we need to talk all about the problem and we need to focus there. But I would like to invite you to a, a, a different mode of thinking. And this is, what does good look like? What does it look like? What does it feel like to go into a class, a college, a scholarship application process, or maybe gearing up to take the ACT, take the SAT? What's the mindset of not just surviving but thriving and with fun and excitement? And that's what I feel I have to offer students. It's the why. And once you grasp this important approach, and it's really about specifics, it's really about who you are, where you want to go, but even beyond that, how far does your imagination go? How good can your writing be? Okay, so two approaches. The problem, number one, and number two, what does good look like? And you see, this is what has motivated me to press through my writing challenges. I was accepted to UC Berkeley out of high school. Best college in the nation at the time. I didn't go because I didn't have the confidence. I knew that I was creative, I was writing poetry, I was writing songs, but I didn't have the confidence to know that even though I did well in high school, I thought for sure I'm going to fall flat on my face when attending UC Berkeley. So I went to City College of San Francisco. And you see, this is a hole that we dig for ourselves where we act upon this fear, and it just increases the more we try to help ourselves, the less equipped we feel. So the mindset change is this. When you're trying to become a good writer, I know you're not trying to become a creative writer, you're not trying to publish things, you're trying to survive college, you're trying to graduate, you're trying to fulfill your dream of your stated major, or maybe you're changing it, you're open to that as well. And you don't want to waste your time. And worst, and most of all, you don't want to get there and fail and let yourself and your family down, especially if you're a first-year college person, first person in your family to attend college. But it happens. It really does happen. My approach, and I've had college professors come up to me literally after class, after I wrote the midterm or the final, and say, "What are you doing to write so wonderfully? This was first rate." And I had a paper nominated to be the best paper at California State University, Bakersfield, by actually the number one rated professor in the United States, Michael Flockman, who was voted as being the best for that particular year in the nation. And he invited me over his house and wanted to mentor me with this paper to get it ready. The key is inspiration. It's to dream outside of the box. What is inspiration? Inspiration is being touched by the gods, or God, or the muse, or the ghost of your great uncle Ernest Hemingway. Right? It's the muse. It's being touched by an inner fire. Now, why is this important? And what does this have to do with you succeeding in writing, surviving college, thriving in college? It has everything to do with that. Because you need to have something that drives you to write. When you sit down to write a paper, I'm getting to the nitty-gritty now. Who is your audience? What are you wanting them to think about differently or to do differently? I'm telling you, this works in colleges. This works in high schools. Okay? Number one, it motivates you to want to write better, to be better. And organization, if you struggle with organization or critical thinking, you're going to be doing the type of reading that is going to allow you to be specific in your writing. And that's an element of development when you're being organized with your thesis, your main ideas, the supporting evidence for each of those main points, and how you progress from one point to the next. And the key, when I'm looking at students writing, and when I have talked with my college professors, because I came to them very often, I never felt that writing really came naturally to me. So I've always spent a lot of time doing it. Even when I was getting a lot of recognition for writing, I was still struggling, which is a good thing because I had something to say. I had something to say. Now, I talked about who's your audience. That is one of the keys right there. And speak directly to them. And then, what is that inner fire? What is the thing that angers you or makes you warm and fuzzy inside inspires you to be more creative. Okay? That is what you need to bring into your writing. Otherwise, it becomes an exercise in boredom, and then learning to write better becomes a chore, not a joy, right? If you knew, if I gave you tickets to Paris, France, or maybe Madrid, Spain, or Mexico City, or Italy, or Australia, or the Bahamas, right? Or Canada, and you knew that you're going to vacation, right? Would you be motivated if you knew your trip was from July 1st to July 15th? You had to be at LAX at 4 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Would you be motivated to buy some clothing, to buy some new shoes, to buy some gloves, swimming trunks, sunglasses, new luggage? You bet you would. I have a purpose behind why I'm doing this. So, there are 3 strategies I talk about in my writing strategy sessions. And do I talk about them right now? I will save that for the call, because that's really going to get into the specifics of how I built my program. I will tell you this. One of my 3 pillars is writing technique, but only one of them. The other 2 are important. And one of them is really related to inspiration. It goes hand in hand with inspiration. So, to summarize this rambling talk that I'm going on right now, is I'm trying to give you a feel for what it's like. You got to write to somebody in a way that it matters to you, that it's real to you. And when you bring that realness in, and you bring that specificity of who you are into even a scientific paper. Okay. I mean, my research paper was all on textual evidence and different scripts for Shakespeare's Hamlet. It was very technical, but it had a lot of creativity in it as well, the way that I went about writing that paper. And it got published in a literary journal. I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, even when you are applying your skills to something that doesn't seem very personal to you and meaningful to you, you need to find something that is a connection point to you or that person that you're writing it to, because you don't just write papers, you don't write poems, you don't write songs in general. You write a poem, a song, a research paper, a report to a person, even if that person is imagined. And if you're lucky, that person that you imagine, it could be a living person, a person no longer around, it can be an imaginary person. If you can always write to that person, that's half the battle right there. So, back to the beginning of my whole point here. I'm right at 14 minutes, 20 seconds. We like to focus on the problem because we think that's going to help us. And there is a value to that because we need to know where we're starting. But it almost doesn't matter what the problem is. If you ask yourself, what does good look like? So what does good writing look like? What does if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher, who is that specific teacher, lawyer, doctor who inspires you? Begin with the end in mind. What does good look like? What does a good essay look like? Have you read a great essay? I mean, you want to write really good papers without a lot of effort. Um, so reading is a big part of my methodology, my approach, and there are some others as well. Like I said, the whole purpose in this video is to inspire you or create a curiosity in you for a very different approach because you have it within you to write a wildly creative, high level paper. And when you give your professors and your high school teachers what I've been talking about, that personal connection and that real specific writing, you won't just get high grades, but you will excel, you will exceed your wildest expectations, and you'll enjoy the process there. I've probably said that 50 different ways in this video, and I look forward to chatting with all of you. I do have a Facebook page, Kevin Shaw High School Tutoring, High School Writing Tutoring, something to that effect. Um, and if you're watching this video, I probably sent a link to that. And I want your questions. I want you to ask me to make videos on specific topics. I'm not looking for money. That's my tutoring practice, but I'm trying to help a lot of people. So you can always respond to me if I sent this via email or text message. However I did, you can reply back and say, can you can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And typically what I'll do is I'll make a video like this and I'll post it so that others beside yourself can benefit as well. And it also helps me to um, be more effective in what I'm doing. So that's it. Just remember, what does good look like? And if what you have in front of you doesn't look good, keep searching. Get inspired by that and start to ask that question more and more again. And you'll focus not on the problem, you'll focus more on the solution, and you'll be more motivated to go through the actual steps, the writing techniques, the feedback that you get from whoever's teaching or tutoring you. All right, take care.